There were two different areas I was really interested in studying. One was psychology in general. The other that had always been a passion was social justice, civil rights. I remember one day I was in the library and I came across a book on accident, and the book was Chicano psychology. And it was like a light bulb. It was like an aha moment. It was like, whoa, there's actually a book that combines, it's answering, it seems hopefully, this question for me. This was the mid-90s. And so when I looked at the book, it was published in the late 70s. So I was like, people have already been doing this work. That means people have been making careers in this area even before then. So I was like, again, one of those things where our history has been kept from us. That was the beginning of my journey of learning about the history of Chicanic psychology, how it developed, and then spreading the word, which was, we are not new to the field. We're out there everywhere working and doing things to better our community.
My dad was born in 1932, Sananto Chicano, right? He was the heart and the soul and the passion of our people. My great-grandma was a Zamora. Her sister was Elena Zamora O'Shea. She wrote El Mezquite, and she was the first Latina ever to go to Texas State University. And they worked with Don Pedro Jaramillo. I'm talking about my parents and grandparents as the road to the Institute for Chicana Psychology, because we are a collective people, right? So we don't tell our stories without telling our ancestors' stories. My road to the Institute of Chicana Psychology is completely 100% connected to the corazon of my mommyhood, being a mother, raising my children. When those batallas to have our identities, our Chicanx identity, those deep, strong roots that it has, going deep into our Madre Tierra, the leaves connecting to the cosmos, to the wind, right? That strong trunk. So that beautiful identity, to have that be what it is in my children, right? And in myself. Once I started fighting those battles for them, it was a whole different thing.
So since that point forward, on and on, I have been interested in the history and also the development of our Chicanic identities, and how crucial it is to our overall well-being, our sense of self, so that we're rooted, so that we know that we come from a lineage of people that have continued to make accomplishments. We see people talking about the accomplishments our people have had in history, Chicano history, political science, the arts, but we haven't seen too many of our people studying and talking about our Chicano identity from a psychological perspective, and a psychological perspective that doesn't divorce them from their roots, that doesn't just psychoanalyze them, but one that is rooted and respectful and reflective of our history. So that's always been something that I have always loved and always tried to advance and move forward. But it was still difficult to try to make that front and center. That was still always a passion that I tried to nurture when I could. And as I connected with Tlazoltiani and we started having these discussions, it wasn't until we became a Dualidad and we started working together did the Institute finally take shape, was finally born, was finally put out there.
It's always been a passion of mine to show up not just for myself but for my people. I just continued on that path, starting to get more into the community. It was always about my children, my parenting, trying to lead in a better way, not lead out of trauma or fear, but lead my family out of what I believe we can be, the dream that we have. So I continued to be active in the community all those years in different organizations in Austin. And then when me and Manuel got together and became a Dualidad, that was a moment when all of my journey and all of his journey was able to create together, you know, that coming together of two energies, that Ometeo, right? Created the Institute for Chicanic Psychology in the belief that we need to be able to all together share the history of who we are, the history of our identities.
Then it became not so much just spreading the word, spreading the good news about the history that we've always been there and letting people know, but it became now more about connecting with the other work that's being done and then seeing what's out there, because there are plenty of Latinx, Chicanx psychologists out there.
I believe you truly can understand your strengths of your people and how that plays out in you if you don't know your history, right? So that is what we do. We have those pláticas, those professional developments. So it plants many seeds, and for me that's what it's been, planting seeds for my children, planting seeds for all of our children, and doing that together, we formed the Institute.